sure he is. And Eddie, I guess it's a fantastic statistic for the fans to see character, 25 points from losing positions. From a managerial point of view, will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer be saying, listen, we can't keep doing this. We've got to start games better.
Yeah, it'd be mixed because he'd be so pleased that they've got the character every time to come back and they've got the players that are able to score against packed defences. That's one of the most difficult things to do in football when a team camps in. So they've got the quality. I think it's almost a mental problem because it's almost like they're waiting for a challenge. They need to be challenged before responding. So he'll be frustrated because, again, an evolution of this team will be to take command of the game from minute one and show their superiority throughout.
Let's have a look at how they got back into this one then. Marcus Rashford, what do you think of this finish?
Really good finish. It's fascinating, actually, because he had a couple of options with the finish. We just highlight Rashford here, and we know that Bruno gets the ball and times it to perfection. But I just like that finish, the way he almost tells the goalkeeper what he's going to do. Now, you've got two options in this situation. If we just pause it there, you either let it come across your body onto your left foot and you come down in this type of area, and then it's a left-footed finish across. But the downside of that is that you're making your angle a lot tighter. The downside of opening your body is you're telling the goalkeeper what you're about to do. Now, he's basically, you can see him, he's sprinting forward, and then last minute, he's totally opening his body. So he's now telling the goalkeeper, I'm going across goal. I actually think this is a good, this is probably the best option to take. It opens the goal up. As long as this defender's not going to get a little block in, I think it's the best option. And you naturally get some spin as well. When the ball's rolling this way and you hit it across, then the weight of the ball naturally gives you a little bit of spin. So it's a lovely finish from Rashford. And we see it placed right into the bottom corner. Goalkeeper could gamble. He gets close to it. But this is another interesting part about it. I was thinking at the time, are you going to give it to Rashford and clear out the space so then it's just Rashford one-on-one against the defender? But no, Fernandes decides different. He thinks I can contribute more to this goal. He could pass here, he could pass here, but he doesn't. He waits and he waits and he waits. And at the end of it, Rashford doesn't even have to beat the player. It's all about Fernandes sucking the defender in, waiting and waiting and waiting until the perfect moment when he thinks, right, a little softball now. Rashford doesn't have to think about anything while scoring the goal.
Finishing clinic for you.
Very impressive. I think Michael's got a future career there. But brilliant play. So clinical. The timing, as you say, of the pass and the quality of that finish shouldn't be underestimated because the ball's coming at quite pacey to him. Doesn't have to check his stride. Great goal.
1-1 then. Brighton appeal for a penalty. What do we make of this?
Personally, I don't think it was a penalty. I think Maguire just does enough within the rules to try and make as hard as he can for Welbeck. I think without Maguire's contribution, Welbeck scores. And I just think he's very, very smart. He doesn't overly commit a foul, but he does everything he can within the laws, in my opinion. People may question that, but that's my thoughts.
Well, OK, well, that's fine. And in terms of VAR, let's point this out, Michael. The referee didn't give it on field. They're not looking for a right or wrong decision. They're looking for a clear and obvious error.
They are, yeah. And they felt it was so not clear and obvious that they didn't even tell Mike Dean to go to the monitor.
You happy with that?
I would have... no, I would have probably thought that Mike Dean should have gone and had a look at it.
So you thought that might have been a clear and obvious error?
No, I just think it's always nice, and we spoke before about it's nice that the referee on field is seen to be making the decisions, unless it's very, very obvious that it's not. I don't think that was absolutely obvious that it wasn't a penalty.
So you play on.
So I would have liked to have seen the referee go and have a look at it. Yeah.
So therefore...
You don't know what I'm talking about there, do you?
No, I do know what you're talking about, but they are telling me that VAR only want to do that for clear and obvious error.
Yeah.
Not for right or wrong. So you're saying that was a clear and obvious error?
But cast your mind back to the game before. It was clear and obvious there was a boot that cleared the ball in the Aston Villa game, yet they still sent the goal, the referee
because they thought it could have been a clear and obvious error.
But I think that was clear and obvious that it wasn't. So I didn't think he necessarily needed to, whereas I thought he should have there. Still don't understand me, do you?
You think it's a clear and obvious error?
Yeah.
There we go. Right, 2-1. What about the role of Bruno Fernandes in this, Eddie?
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. We'll see it here. So first and foremost, I think first half he might not have made this run. Definitely a clear tactic second half to make the run. But I just want to highlight what he does here. So I felt he could have crossed it earlier. He didn't. He waited. and I think that shows his quality. He found Pogba, as I think a lot of players there would have tried to cross it behind Brighton's backline, but there was no one there. See here, a lot of players I think would try and cross that and panic. He doesn't. He's got the quality to wait, get his head up, and find a better solution.
Eddie, I just want to pick your brains here. See this area here? Ben White, and if we just hold this 1 minute, I often see this in defenders. And I just think that once a ball, because remember, it's come from here, so a defender's waiting, it's come over his head, and now he's facing up. Now he's the back post defender as opposed to the front post defender. I often wonder why these defenders run back onto the goal line. If Ben White just holds his position, keeps the high line, keeps everybody, you know, in a nice structural line, so he's playing an offside line type of thing, why he runs back, because that area then frees up Mason Greenwood to score the goal. Is that a comforting thing?
Well, I totally agree with you. I think what he thinks is if Pogba volleys that towards goal, he's acting as another goalkeeper in effect. He can clear the ball away. He's much better relying on his goalkeeper to do his job, marking one of these two players, because if he does, he clears it. So I think it's an instinct thing. It's an instinct to think, I've got to protect my goal, and then you leave your man. Pogba miscues it, straight to Greenwood's head, and it's a goal. And that's something that, you know, I've talked about with my players previously, centre-backs dropping to the line too early.
Yeah. And I just want to pick up on what Mason Greenwood said. He's been working behind the scenes on his instinct and heading.
Yeah, I mean, heading is something definitely that you can improve with practice. Instinct is something that I think he's got. You naturally have it, or you haven't got it, where the ball's going to drop, etc. But certainly practicing your heading is something that can pay dividends, and we've obviously seen it work today.
Absolutely. OK, and that was the winning goal. When we come back...
So you salvaged that in the second half?
Yeah, I thought we started well, but when they scored after that, we couldn't find our rhythm again, and we needed half-time to compose ourselves and go again. And second half, yeah, we played some good stuff.
So what did you say at half-time? When do you say compose yourselves? It looked like more of a rocket.
Depends how you compose yourself.
What did you say? Did you change the tactics? Was it looking for
nothing tactical from what we wanted from the first half. It's but more runs in behind, more movement, better movement. Just sometimes after international breaks, it takes time, and then maybe the fireworks have to be lit at half-time.
Oh, it's good to have the habit of late finishes and building the pressure, because that's what you did.
Yeah, very good second half. You know, the first goal, good play by Bruno, great finish by Marcus. And the second goal overall was a very, very good goal.
Yeah, Mason's been saying he's been working on his heading in training.
Yeah, he's learned from Eddie. And, of course, it's important when Edinson is here now. He's not going to play football forever, but it's the traits of that movement is probably picked up a little bit. And Mason needs to add those goals to his tally, because we know how wonderful the talent he is, and he played really well tonight. And when he can add those goals, we know he'll really be a good one.
Well, the goal came just after you made the change, but Cavani was starved of a lot of service throughout the match, wasn't he?
Yeah, and that's, you know, sometimes as a centre-forward it doesn't work your way. You've got to be patient, be in the box. You know, they defended well with a 5-4-1, so 5 at the back is always hard to break down, but we managed in the end.
For a while, seeing one of the club's academy graduates scoring might have been a bit painful for you.
Very, but on the other hand, it's great to see him back playing at his best. I think, you know, Danny could have had a fantastic career here at Man United. Didn't work out. He's had some bad injuries, and I had him in the reserves. Such a wonderful kid as well, and just so pleased for him.
Very important for you to get the 3 points tonight, with Chelsea, Leicester, Spurs all dropping points.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter what anyone else does as long as we win and we get our points, because we're in second place, and that's it's a long way up, of course, but second place, we want to consolidate that one.
Just a quick check on Marcus Rashford, because he's got a European challenge this week. How does it look?
Well, it's one of them again. Your fingers crossed, and you hope he's going to recover from it. But he had to come off, and but he's a tough one.
Thank you, Ollie.
Thank you.
Interesting. Do you accept what he's saying there about the international break, and it takes a while to light the fireworks?
I accept it in a way, but I just think that every single manager's got that same excuse. The Premier League is full of international players. So Brighton, who they're playing today, loads of players out on international duty. So anybody can use that excuse whenever it suits them, really. But But yeah, I do accept that travelling, being away for a couple of weeks, getting your, that tempo back in your play. I do accept that as an excuse. But as I say, everybody's got the excuse, so I'm not too convinced by it.
You ever used that excuse?
Yeah, it was definitely a factor. We noticed that it was a big challenge after international break when you get your players back at different times, depending on the schedule that the players had, to get them focused back on the Premier League again. But Michael's absolutely right. Everybody has the same problem, so it should even itself out. But it was a challenge.
Are you seeing more consistency from Manchester United now? The type, he's talking about consolidating second place there, the type that they should be producing.
Well, we didn't see consistency within the game today. They were pretty average in the first half, but very strong in the
Over the
second
season,
half. Over the season, yeah. They look quite solid defensively. We saw, their last sort of 6 results earlier, and they're hardly conceding any goals. And when you do that, you've got so much talent in your team, then it's hard not to pick up results. I would like to see them go another step further and start being a little bit more expansive, start beating teams 4 and 5-0, like the old days. I don't see a Manchester United team doing that on a consistent basis, really, at the moment. I see them grinding wins out 1-0, 2-1. But Eddie's mentioned it all night. It's a process, and, where they've been over the last few seasons, they are getting better and better. And that shows in their league form at the moment. That second place is looking like it's going to be consolidated. Yeah,
they are second place at the moment. Do you think, though, looking at all the teams, they are the second best team in this league?
I think so at the moment. I think you'd say they're there on merit. They deserve to be there. But they won't be happy with that. They won't want to be second. This is Manchester United. So, like Michael was saying, that they want to win 3s and 4s and 5s. I think that's hopefully for them the next progression. But to do that, they're going to have to improve. Because on another day, today, they could have been 2-0 down at half-time. And that comeback might never happen. So they've still got work to do, but I think they're going in the right direction.
But in this type of fixture, I know you weren't impressed in the first half at all, but they have slipped up at home. Now they've got the job done. Again, coming from behind, as we've already talked about.
Yeah, that's a brilliant asset to have, to be able to come from behind. I mean, not many teams have the character, have the ability to do it, because quite naturally, when you're behind, you're then playing against a bit of a brick wall. Teams will sit back and make it even more difficult. So then you need really technical players to open and prise open defences. But I go back to it. I think that Manchester United are a very good, solid team. You'd hate to play against them. You don't get much out of them. But I still see loads of scope for improvement in that team. I think that there's players there that are even better than they're showing. I think they can get so much more out of the likes of Pogba and most of their attacking players, for that matter. So I still think, even though they're second, I still think they've got so much more to give.
OK, Manchester United go to Tottenham next weekend. Let's get a quick word with the losing manager, Brighton's Graham Potter.
Graham, you've not had a lot of luck against Manchester United this season. I thought you played some really good stuff today.
Yeah, we did. Contributed well in the game. Took the lead, and the first half with a team that carried the most threat, and created some more opportunities, a couple of offset plays, and just missed that final pass. I think second half, Manchester United responded as you'd expect and pushed us back more than we'd probably like, without creating too many chances, I didn't think. But yeah, it's they scored from not too much, and maybe a penalty that Danny may have had doesn't go our way. But overall, we're disappointed not to get anything from the game.
Have you had chance to have another look at that? Obviously, VAR did look at it. And I guess you have to take their word for it.
Yeah, I mean, when I was live, I thought it was a penalty, and then I suppose it's the clear and obvious debate. I think if Mike Dean gives a penalty, I don't think VAR overrule it, and because he hasn't given the penalty, maybe it's not clear and obvious enough to be overruled. That's the $1 million question. But as I said, you need everything to go your way if you're going to come here and get a victory. And at that point, it would have been, obviously, it's a key moment for us, but nothing we can do. In the end, we have to look at ourselves. Like I said, I thought we got driven back a little bit more than we'd like second half, and without, like I said, creating too many chances against us. But we're disappointed to come away with nothing.
Yeah, we got straight back to where we were before the game in terms of managers feeling performances deserve more and getting no points.
Yeah, and it's a similar story for Brighton this season, where they've performed really well in the game. They come to Old Trafford, they've been the dominant team for 45 minutes. You expect to come under pressure second half, 1-0 up, but they just have a really bad habit of coming away from those games that you think, on the balance of play, they deserve more, but they've come away with nothing.
And because of that habit, when you look at the table now, 6 points above Fulham with a game in hand, do you think they'll be absolutely fine?
I think they will be fine. I don't think they'll be absolutely fine. They'll have some more nervous moments between now and the end of the season. But, you know, with a better goal difference and, you know, what are they, 6 points ahead? So there's virtually 7 points there, isn't it? I think that's plenty. And I think they're a good team that will continue to pick up a few points. I think they'll be fine. I think it's between Newcastle and Fulham, really, who's going to go down.
Yeah, no worries for you, for Brighton?
No worries. I think Graham Potter's done an excellent job. I think he's an outstanding manager, and I think they've got a very good group of players.
And something to build on, importantly, for Brighton there.
Yeah, I think there's so much positivity there, because if they can start to turn those results that they've been unfortunate with this season, they would be looking in the top half of the table for sure.
Is that realistic going forward after this season for Brighton?
I think that they're a club that are going places. Their training ground is amazing. Their new stadium is brilliant. I think it's a real exciting time for the club. And they've got some talented players. They're definitely underachieving the way they play. To only have that amount of points, and I think they're underachieving. But if they survive again this season, then it's another season to keep building.
So they're at home to Everton next. So the deduction of Brighton are fine. We're back to Newcastle or Fulham, who play each other on the final day. And you're both sticking with Newcastle to stay up, yeah?
I'm sticking with them because I think their players have enough to win a couple of games between now and the end of the season, which will prove the difference. And I think that then means Fulham are going to have to win 3 or 4 games, and I just don't know whether they can do that.
Yeah, I think if Fulham can just get Newcastle to that last game, playing at home, I know the fans are not relevant anymore, but if they get them at home, then all of a sudden it could be a blockbuster end.
Enjoyed your company, Eddie. Thanks very much indeed. Getting tight at the bottom. We'll see you soon.